Hey guys, it's Sid with SVTperformance.com, and like I mentioned earlier, we are at the NMRA Spring Break Shootout in Bradenton, Florida. It's February 2020, and we're going to walk through the car show. And let me tell you, it's the biggest one I've ever seen at the NMRA Spring Break Shootout. But I just wanted to give you guys a walkthrough of everything that's going on here. They told us that it had around 500 cars. I'm not sure I believe that number, but there's definitely more than there's ever been. So let's just take a look at some of the stuff that's here. So we've got a nice clean Fox body that probably should not have Cobra badges on it, but it does have a nice Cobra intake manifold. Bullet from 2008 vintage, and of course Terminator. And this thing looks like it is stock as a box of rocks. Beautiful looking black hardtop, black gray interior. And look at this thing, it still has the factory pulley guard on it. Does it have the factory pulley? It does. So this looks like a stock, unmolested Cobra. It even has the snorkel on it. So if you want a stock car, and look at this, it looks like it may actually be for sale. So if somebody's looking for a, oh yeah, definitely for sale. Stock 03 Cobra, 12,300 miles. I showed the number. Call Frank and Linda, 919-423-9878. It's a nice collector's piece. You were looking for, this is my buddy Rich, you were looking for a Terminator, weren't you? A black one? Might be something to look at. Got plenty of S550 GTs, a lot of 3 valves. This one looks like it's got a America themed intake manifold, custom touches. And of course, you know, I have a soft spot for the Lightning. I have a 04. And let's see what this one has on it. Smaller pulley, stock blower, monoblade throttle body, lightly modded it looks like. Lightning, probably used to polish the headlights a little bit. Not too bad. Moving on down, early SN95 GT 5-liter pushrod engine. Another 5.0 S550 convertible. Got a GT350 over here. Fox bodies, plenty of Fox bodies. I'll point out the ones that I believe are super fantastic. And check out this Ranchero. You don't see tons of these things around, especially these earlier ones. That little small block just sitting down there all happy. 63 model. And it says it's a 4-speed car. Well, is it a car or a truck? Has truck bed, car body. I'm not going to fight that fight. It's not a hill worth dying on to me. 351 2-barrel intake on this 70s model. Got some snake eyes on this thing. 18 and up with some custom paint under the hood. Roush intake. EcoBoost car, had one of those. GT500, had one of those. Got a K&N intake, otherwise fairly stock. Fox bodies, Explorer. Check out this, I have a soft spot for yellow SN95s, but this one's special. I think this guy is probably a member on SVTP. It's Cobra. But check out under the hood. What's different about this? This is a 5.4 4-valve with the Australian Boss 5.4 intake manifold. So here's the thing about this. If you guys wanted to have a naturally aspirated 5.4 motor and not have to look for a Cobra R manifold, this is basically your option. These things were in Australia, in Falcons, and they're Utes. You know, basically their version of a Ranchero. But they ran this, it was called the Boss 330, I believe. Ran this intake manifold. The bottom of it is pretty much, you can get the lighting in here. The bottom of it is pretty much a Cobra R. It's a little bit different, and then it has this more breadbox style hat on the thing. But it allows you to run the Lightning and Cobra style throttle body, and it looks like it fits neatly into an SN95. So this is a pretty special car. There's some rare parts on this thing. I like seeing that. I'm not sure what the Mercedes-looking kit car is doing in a Ford car show, but maybe it has a Ford engine. Got this Roush over here with the Roush blower on the thing. Interesting setup under the hood, how it makes the motor look massive with these side plates under the valve covers. Another GT350, this one with the performance filter on it. But otherwise, it looks fairly stock. It does have a sticker that adds horsepower, of course. A plasti-dipped Fox body, something with gold doors on it, and an EcoBoost engine. I'll let you guys make your own judgment on that. Got a Ford Racing supercharger over here, of course made by Roush, on this S550. Heading on down, Boss 302. I always love these cars in school bus yellow, fantastic. 2013 only model. This one looks like it's got sort of a drag setup. It's got race stars, skinnies on the front, bigs on the back. Head on down, got a GT500 that is pretty much on the ground. Let's see if it's got anything going on under the hood. This GT PMAS intake with, looks like it's kind of chopped together. I don't think that is factory PMAS stuff.
So this car,
but GT500, and it is a low.
I mean, take it easy, Don. Yeah.
And we got a Need for Green GT. This color is kind of polarizing. I like it. In sunlight, it looks fantastic. It actually looks pretty light right here looking into the camera. But yeah, it's got a lot of metal flake in it, and it really pops. It's similar to the yellow blaze that was on our 2012 project car. Actually the same type of three-stage metal flake process in the paint. And man, it's funny. You look at one of these S197 cars next to like this S550, this looks like such a bigger car. And we used to think like the 70s Mustangs were huge, but look at the difference in size between what we used to think was the biggest Mustang ever and an S550. Huge difference. Now, these older cars are now small. So if you want to see a real difference, park a Fox body next to an S550. But this one, nice 351. Of course, it's a Boss 351, at least it says it is. I'm not going to check its pedigree. GT500, Trinity car, black on black, beautiful, of course. Nice orange, later model S550, F150, another Need for Green GT, and then probably my pick, this is best of show, of course. I'm not saying it was awarded that, but it's just my best of show. It's a Thunderbird on a custom-made 2x4 steel frame chassis, Dana 60s front and rear, hydro power assist steering, and check out how the body is mounted on this thing. Of course, it's got long arm suspension. Basically, just welded on a bracket so they could bolt the unibody onto this frame. Divorce transfer case. This, you guys have heard of Florida Man. This is Florida car. That thing is awesome. More GTs, more clean Fox bodies. Let's get into some of the more modified ones. This is a fantastic looking Fox body. Red coupe with a Paxton blower, polished, going into a trick full manifold. This guy should win something because this is a very, very clean setup on this engine. Obviously somebody put some time and effort and love into this car. Very nice. Some random 5.43 valve F-150. And we've got more cars. What's this thing? Hiding in there. He's trying to cover up his 3 valves. We know what you are. Got a Roush intake manifold on a 5-liter F-150 and not much else. XLT. So not a bad looking truck, but I don't know. Got another GT350 with extra snakes, just so you know. Plenty of snakes everywhere. One here. Yep, they do not want you to miss what that is. Another great looking Trinity car. Does not look like it's highly modified at all. Just got a few little Shelby touch-ups. Not too bad. Shelby 350. If you guys are not familiar, Shelby was putting their name on these S197 cars with 3 valves. It's not a Ford Shelby. This is a Shelby, so done by Shelby in Vegas. This one has a blower on it. Nice old Paxton. Going through a 3 valve to basically make Coyote levels of power. Got a nice Focus ST, great cars. It's got an RS wing on it. Those are tons of fun. Beautiful paint job on this Fox body. I'm a sucker for this color blue. It's very, very similar. Hell, it might be a bright Atlantic blue, but I'm a sucker for that color blue. I would put that on anything. And I really like the old school motorsport logo. Huge fan of that. I really think Ford should bring that back on some products. I think it looks really cool, and with the way that everyone loves these Fox bodies, it just fits. Great looking car. Got some Star Wars fans over here, Darth Vader and a Stormtrooper. At least one of them's a Coyote, the other one's a 6-cylinder. A EcoBoost Explorer. You guys saw our video that we did last week on these. They're fun cars. Got interesting setup on this small block. Got a, looks like a custom elbow welded onto a 4-barrel manifold with fuel injection and a turbo. I was going to say Nagasaki noisemaker, but it says it's USA made, but that is just a heat shield. I don't know what the turbo is on there. Bullseye power, so I'm not off, not by much. More Fox bodies. This one was a surprise for me. We did a test drive on this, not this exact car, one like it, new S550 Bullet. This car surprised me more than any new car that I've driven lately of how much I liked it. I was expecting to go in and it'd be just a tiny bit hotter GT, but Ford really tweaked this thing around all the edges to make the Bullet package much, much better. The Bullet is a very, very nice car. And what I would say, until you get up to like the Ford performance related models, this is sort of, I guess the way I put it when we did the original video was it's sort of the iron fist and the velvet glove. It is very polished, very poised, but very performance oriented. If you're interested in just something that's a little bit more special than a regular Mustang GT, but you don't want to go all the way to a performance pack level 2 car, check out the Bullet. The Bullet it's definitely special. They put some love into that. I like those cars. We've got an Aviator. I know a lot of guys have not seen these things on the street, and it's sort of like a much fancier version of the Explorer ST. Ford's done a really good job with Lincoln over the last few years of being able to differentiate these from their Ford counterparts. We've got much tighter door seals, all that kind of stuff. The interior, I'm not going to mess around with this guy's car too much, but it's much, much nicer than the Explorer. Of course, it's riding on the Explorer platform with the same drivetrain as the Explorer ST. So if you like an Explorer ST with a tune, which will run low 12s, you could get this car for about the same price and have a little bit higher end nameplate. You know, of course, you get the good headlights, which are awesome looking. Looks like fish gills. I like that thing. Moving on, get into some SN95, Cobra manifold, nice. Going down another Terminator, beautiful. Parked beside another Terminator, also beautiful. And a GT500. Super Duty, parked in with the car shows for some reason. A lot of carbon fiber going on with this. Got another Trinity car. A lot of those guys show up at the car show. Beautiful, beautiful color on this Roush. Deep impact blue and another beautiful blue. I love that on this S550. And check out this OBS Ford. These things are worth a ton of money now. It's crazy what these things are going for. This one is 2-wheel drive, as you can see, no locking hubs. And it looks like it's a diesel, but I don't see any power stroke badges on it or anything, and an automatic. But these are super, super popular now. Check this out, Coyote swap into a New Edge GT. And check out that Whipple supercharger on this thing. Very nice setup. Probably could step up to an 8-rib, but that's great about the Whipples is they will just sell you the setup. You can change that whenever you want to. You don't have to do it all at once. Very, very, very clean. You can see we've hidden all the wiring, smoothed the firewall, painted underneath. Very, very nice install on that. Good looking car. Check it. Got a Jack Roush signature on this GT, and these cars just keep going on and on down through here. And we're going to make it through. Basically stock GT over here. Beautiful competition orange Boss 302. And check it out, we got another Coyote swapped car. This one, of course, another new Edge. Looks good. Again, you can see Coyote in here. This guy did not do all the cleanup that the previous car did. So you can see you got all the wiring, hoses, and all that kind of stuff. And it really makes a difference in the way the final setup looks. This is very practical. I'm not going to knock this guy on what he's done. I'm sure this thing runs perfectly. All the wiring looks like it's properly loomed and tied back and everything, but there's just a different show quality of when you hide all that kind of stuff and put the battery in the trunk or something like that. This I would consider a very practical setup for a daily driver or anything, or if you wanted to go racing. Of course, you see he's got the Holley Sniper intake manifold on it. Probably somebody that's looking to do some upgrades in the future and really race this car. But that's just a difference in build philosophy. Each one of them work for a different purpose. I would not take anything away from either one. It just depends on what you want to do. And let's check this out. 2-valve with the aluminum valve covers. I forget who makes these things. Are these Trick Flows, or it's hard to tell. It might be some knockoff brand. I don't know. I'm not going to dig into it too much. Aluminum intake manifold. Another deep impact blue S197. Right over this way, we've got quite a few Fox bodies of varying levels of cleanliness. I did notice this one earlier. Check out this interior on this Fox. That looks like it's 70s all over again. And if you look right here on the console, what's that? CB radio? Nice. Fits with the wood dash and the 4-spoke steering wheel. Heading on, we got an SVO with some definite custom piping. Highly doubting that's the factory turbocharger. It's a nice looking setup on this car. I'd like to know what it makes power wise. And of course, another Lightning. Like I said, soft spot. I like the 20-inch 03-04 style wheels. I have the 03-04 style on mine, but they're the actual chrome Ford racing wheels that are super tough to find, but that's a good looking setup on this car. Looks like it's got some clear coat peel, which is kind of indicative of these trucks. I mean, you're talking about something that's almost 20 years old now. Some of them are 20 years old. Another GT350, fairly stock. Same thing again, another GT350. This one looks like it's got a cold air intake from JLT. It's one of the carbon fiber ones. Looks really nice. And they've got the foam block in there to keep you from getting hot underhood air into that filter. That's important. And again, another GT350, same deal. Got some carbon fiber parts from JLT. And another 3-valve F-150 for some reason. Got a Celine car, mineral gray, another black Terminator. Got a Cobra kit car. Ooh, 427, so you know what that means. Got a small block 351 stroked out to 427. I like their oil filter placement. Makes that easy to change and service. And that is a nice 4-barrel manifold on this thing. I would say this car is a ton of fun out on the street. Another F-150. Again, I'm not sure why. Terminator, for sale. 03 Cobra, 80,000 miles. For $17,900. There's the phone number if you're looking for a Terminator. Not too bad, silver one. Check out this, BMW 8 Series. These cars were very cool. I'm pretty sure they came with a V12. I'm not sure the size of it, but this one has been upgraded with fewer cylinders, but it's a Coyote in it, so that's a neat setup. The thing about these cars, they were very cool cars, very ahead of the time, and very expensive if anything goes wrong on them. And of course, what goes wrong? Everything. And it always goes wrong. So you get to the point where if you blow a head gasket on a car like this, you might as well crush it. Or do what this guy did. Put a known, proven motor in, Coyote, make some power. And you just saved a classic car. Again, got a nice looking Mach 1 here, and look, hiding under this, got a Kenny Bell. Sneaky, I like that. Yet another, gotta have it green, GT. Another clean Fox body here. This is something different. Spotted that. Gold Cobra badges. Don't see that every day. And another OBS. You know, say what you will about the tire and wheel setup, but I love these clean OBS Fords. Got a ton of gauges in there. It's got an 08 to 2010 bumper on the thing. Not a bad setup at all. Another clean Fox body. It just goes on and on. EcoBoost with the air raid. I had that same setup. A Camaro. He must have gotten lost. Yet another Gotta Have It Green car. Again with race stars, front and rear. I'm starting to see a trend here. I think the car show crowd loves the Gotta Have It Green. And GT350s. Yet another one with another carbon fiber JLT intake. Check this out. V8 overhead cam. So I'm not sure what this came off of. I know this is just a 2-valve 4.6 motor, but I'm wondering, I can see it's been sectioned here and not so cleanly put back together. That almost looks GM to me. So I'm wondering if that's a GM part that they fit on this car. Interesting. Never know what you're going to see at a car show like this. Fairly clean looking SN95 convertible. See tons and tons of cars like that all over. We've got a jacked up Super Duty here. Dana 60s, Kelderman suspension. I like these Fox shocks for controlling death wobble. Nice, of course, airbags. So this thing can go up or down depending on what the owner wants. I like this Tiger Racing hood on this S550. It looks really good. And then on top of that, it's got some really good body work on the thing. Paint looks factory, very smooth, very good work. I love this color. Again, like I said, I'm a sucker for this bright metallic blue, and it's probably because of the first truck I ever owned was an 84 F-150. It was two-tone, dark blue and a light blue that was just like this. And I have no photos of that truck, I don't think, but I think that's what it goes back to, is I grew up with it. It was my dad's truck, and he gave it to me, and it had a color similar to that, two-toned into it. Like that. Grabber blue Trinity car. Lots and lots of these 1314 GT500s at this show today. Got a, lighting's not great here, but let me just see if I can sneak it in there. Oh yeah, it gets better now. Got a nice 5-liter Coyote packaged into a Fox body. And this guy's sort of done the halfway treatment between the two cars we showed you earlier. You can see he's not completely covered everything on the fender wells, but it has been painted and the wiring has been minimalized. So it's sort of a in-between setup. Looks really good. Another clean install, and you know, it's another option. Just depends on how far you guys want to go with these kind of things if when you go and start doing these swaps. Got a SN95 Cobra with a 4-valve in it. Not the cleanest setup, but not bad either. We're starting to get down to the end. Got a car show crowd here having some hot dogs and burgers. Another Terminator, a 10th anniversary one this time. It does have a few mods on it. And check out the red leather seats. 10th anniversary only. 03, of course, celebrating 10th anniversary of SVT. I spotted this Terminator a while back. This thing looks like a bass boat I owned at one point. Somebody went nuts with the metallic on this. Check that paint job out. It's like gel coat on a boat. Like super, super glitter sparkle in the paint. It's convertible. Got a few mods on it, nothing super crazy. Painted valve covers. Rocket Racing pulley. Nothing super crazy. Cobra is on backwards, but they can fix that if they want to. A few Roush cars down here towards the end. Another 2-valve. I'm kind of getting the fever for a 2-valve car. I don't know why. You can pick them up super cheap. You can barely kill them even if you're trying. So I think that might be in my future, picking up a 2-valve. 3-valves you can get cheap too. Have a ton of fun with them. And I hate to say it, but the S197 is a way better platform than the old New Edge and SN95 stuff. It's a better car, but it's really a flavor type deal. So if you wanted to drive better, handle better, the S197 is the better car. But the earlier platform cars, they're so cheap and they're so much fun because everything's just much more on the edge with that. And at this point in my life, that's what I like, is I want something that just give me some feedback, and those older cars have that much more than the newer ones. I like this guy's hood prop using an old spring. And we have come to the end, but guess what? That is not the end of the car show. These things, there's so many of them. that way back up here, there's another row. So I'm going to cut the video here, and we're going to walk up and check that out. So we're back up here at the beginning of the line. We've got a nice Ford truck, but unfortunately it has a Chevy motor in it, so we're not going to pay much attention to that. But we do have a beautiful red GT350, and going down the line here, Grabber Blue S550 GT Coyote, of course. Got a Steeda cold air intake on it, some Steeda decals, probably some Steeda springs, I'm not sure. White GT350. A lot of GT350s out in the car show today. It's funny that they're in the car show instead of on the track where they belong, but I'm not here to pass judgment. Got a VMP blower on this Grabber Blue S550. Very nice setup. Got a lot of JLT parts on there. Pretty car. Yet another GT350. Got a tow hook. Not a bad looking car at all. I like that tire setup on this thing. Very nice. Florida car. Got a white S197. Somebody's proud of their Coyote engine. Another Trinity car. A lot of these, seeing a theme here. A lot of GT350s and Trinity GT500s. Look here, yet another one. This one looks like the front end has seen better days. Those vinyl stripes. A lot of rock chips and whatnot. But it's that beautiful deep impact blue that came on these cars, which made for a very, very good looking car. Just needs a little bit more love. Red 5.0 S197. I'm not sure if that's a 13 or 14. Yet another S550. Just going to go down this line here. I'm going to cut in real quick. And another one. Again, this is an issue you're going to see more and more on these cars. See that? A little bit right there on the paint bubbling. These hoods are aluminum. And they get what's called POTUS corrosion. Basically, any moisture that gets between the paint layer and the aluminum will cause corrosion and just cause this basically bubbling of the paint. Ford has had that problem for years on aluminum body panels, and hopefully haven't seen a whole lot of it on the 2015 and up Mustangs, not Mustangs, F-150s, which are all aluminum, and the 17 and up Super Duties, same deal, where the bodywork is all aluminum. Haven't seen a ton of that. I'm hoping that they've figured that out by now, of how to properly prep the aluminum so you don't get that. Again, another 350. Got Rebecca Starkey pulling in here with her GT500. Then we have the Loki car. Of course, it has the Odin blower in it. They've been out running True Street, making a hit on this. Check out this very, very nice coupe Fox body. Old school blower setup from Powerdyne. We've got 5-liter intake manifold. Can you guess what that's from? If you guessed Ford Explorer, you are correct. Ford Explorer came with a GT4 intake manifold. You can pick those things up for cheap from a junkyard. I'm talking like $100. You can have a GT40 intake manifold for your Fox body. And they work fantastically. Very nice car, nicely done. You got another beautiful blue, like I talked about, S550. I know you guys have seen tons and tons of these convertible green SN95 GTs with saddle interior. Let's see what the price is on this one. It's for sale. They built tons of these cars. Got 82,000 miles, fresh oil change, and there's no price. You just got to call him to figure out the price. They built tons of those cars. Everybody had one in high school, except me. I had a Ranger then, because I like to go off-roading. Then we've got beautiful gray S550 GT with a Pro Charger. Pro Charger's got some really interesting stuff going on with their Coyote platforms, especially in the trucks. We're going to cover more of that in the future. I want to move on, though, to this very classic Ford, and it's got something interesting underneath. It's got a 4.62 valve, and this little engine cover is actually off of a Lincoln Town Car. Very clean setup. You know, a car like this, you don't need a ton of power, you just want it to be reliable, and a 4.62 valve is damn near indestructible, so that's a good setup for that car. Nice black S197. Somebody just decided to park their Expedition here, although it is a Platinum. Platinum Expedition's not a bad vehicle to be running around in. And another Fox body coupe. I'm not sure this one's in the car show, considering that it's full of junk in the back. And I think we're just about out of car show cars to take a look at. But this one's a good one to leave off with. Early S197, 3 valve, of course. This one has some very period-specific 3-valve mods. So it has the Ford Racing intake manifold for the 3-valve. And I'm not surprised it has aftermarket coils. These things go bad after a time, and it's hard to believe, but the S197 platform is 15 years old. So this car's been around a while. Very pretty paint though, very nice looking. Well, except for the front here. That's a little shabby, but the sides and everything looks good. This car could probably just get a bumper refresh and not be too bad. I like that Mercury Cyclone next to the Aviator we saw earlier. Got another one down here too. Cyclone CJ. Huge cars. Of course, this one's a big block car. Let's take a closer look at this thing. This would be a good one to end on. 428, big block, powered, Mercury Cyclone, of course, with a cobra eating a rat. I think that's a good place to end off on this video. Again, we're here at the NMRA Spring Break Shootout in Bradenton, Florida, early 2020. I was getting ready to say early February. The days are starting to run together to me. It's the end of February 2020. Beautiful weather, and there's a skyline. That's it for the car show. They said it was close to 500 cars. I don't know if it's that many, but there's a lot of cars, way more than I've seen in previous years. I've never seen them have to park cars like that before going up the road for the car show. So obviously the guys at NMRA are doing something right. I hope that you guys can make it out here and check it out. We're going to do another feature on Eric's car over here with this wibble blower on it. That car is fast and very clean, very awesome, very nice build. We're going to check that out a little bit later on, so look out for that on the channel. Till then, peace.